There, I took, I think, 10 or 11 classes, which is crazy. We were just in the school almost 24/7 the first month. And when we convert, I got 10.25 ABG credits, which is nothing.
For 11 courses? That is insane. Hello to everyone. In today's episode of The Sheet, we have the student assistant to the Erasmus office, Egor Golovin.
What's up? How are you doing? How's your day?
Hello, Egor. Can you tell us about your experience in France?
Hey, everyone. Thank you, Johnny, for inviting me here. It's a pleasure to talk to you and to share this experience. I went to Lille in France, in the northern part of France, last semester. I went to the Catholic University of Lille. In ABG, I'm a fourth year. I study GMC in French. So I thought that France would be the best idea for me to go because they had the school. Well, I went to the Catholic University of Lille, and it's a very big school. There are, I think, like 30 or 40K students there, which is crazy. And it's divided into small schools. There's business school, humanities school, blah, blah, blah. My school was communication management. It's called ESTC. It's a very small school, but it's very nice. And there I studied GMC, some courses in communication, media, design, this kind of stuff. So I went there and I had a really good time, I think. Yeah, very nice time.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the university? Is it a public one or a private one?
Well, in France, there exist two types of universities: the private ones and the ones which are under the government-funded ones. I went to the private one because ABG is a private institution, and usually they sign contracts with other universities for Erasmus or for other programs which are also private. This university is one of the most famous in France among the private ones. It's also very, very good education-wise, I think. I've seen the ratings, I've checked before I went there. If I compare it to other universities in Europe which are private, I think this one is one of the best. I definitely can say this.
And you mentioned that it was a Catholic school. Were there like any religious things in the school? Because I cannot imagine what is it to study
Yeah,
university.
I think it's more about its name, and there is not much about it in the actual school. I think there is a church in the main building, like it's very beautiful buildings, like Harry Potter style. Very very European old building, beautiful. And there is a part of the building which was made for studying with the classrooms, and other part is a church. But apart this, I haven't seen any signs of religion or something like this, so I cannot say it's very bonded to this concept.
And you mentioned your second major is French. And I wanted to ask you, did you study in French and how many of your classes were in French?
Yeah, my second major is French here in ABG. It was one of the reasons I went to France. And there I took, I think, 10 or 11 classes, which is crazy. When we compare it to ABG program where we take like 5 or 6 if we overloading, which is already a lot. And there I had, I think, about 3 or 4 classes in French, and other ones were in English. And in the beginning, it was very hard because I started from 8 a.m. till like 7 in the evening, which is crazy. With a small like 2-hour, 1-hour break for lunch. But apart this, we were just in the school almost 24/7 the first month we came there. Yeah.
And wow, 11 classes. I cannot imagine. And how many AUBG credits were?
This is a very funny story. Because the systems are different. So here we have American system in ABG, and there it's European system. And when we convert, I got 10.25 ABG credits, which is nothing.
For 11 courses? That is insane.
This is insane, yes. Because there the courses weight like 0.5 ABG credit, 1 ABG credit, So that's why I needed to take that many courses.
But how is it possible when you have in mind that the minimum credits are 13 when you go on your, no, 12, I think 12.
12, yeah, I think it's 12. Well, I asked Maria, the person who works in the Erasmus office, and she said that it's fine and that I will need to overload, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm overloading. Now I'm taking 6 classes this semester in ABG, but I think it's fine, to be honest. Like, there is, if you do a semester in ABG, I think there is a strict line. You need to do at least 12, as I said earlier. But if you go Erasmus, you can do a little less, and then you will need to overload up. So I think it's fine. Yeah.
And because some of your classes were in French, was there any problem with the credits that were transferred from the French courses?
Not really. The system works this way. It doesn't matter if the course is taught in French or in English or in any other language, to be honest. It's being transferred the same way. So yeah, there is no difference.
And because you're a non-EU citizen, you're from Russia, I wanted to ask you, did you have any problems with applying for Erasmus regarding documentation?
Well, for me, Erasmus is the thing when you really pack a lot of documents. You need to do a lot of stuff, learning agreement. You know this, you know what I'm talking about. For me, it's non-EU. I needed to do a visa to France because I cannot be there more than 90 days. And I needed to do a visa. It was a very tiring process, I'd say. It was very, very fast, though. They made it in I think 5 days or something, or 4 days. So it was extremely fast. The visa service in Sofia, the French embassy, didn't have many problems because I still hold the Bulgarian card, which the permit, because I'm studying in ABG. So it really facilitated my process.
And because you can speak the French language, was there a need for some kind of certificate for French knowledge when you apply to the uni?
I don't think so, to be honest. In my recommendation letter, I just wrote that I speak French. I said that I have B2 level at the time. And I think nobody asked me for any certifications. And they told me in the school that if you don't feel comfortable, you can always drop these courses. But I actually didn't have any choice because there were no courses that they could replace them with because they didn't offer much stuff in English.
And can you compare living in France to living in Bulgaria? Compare life expenses, how life goes, because I don't know how big of a city is Lille.
Okay. So, well, Bulgaria is quite cheap when compared to Western countries like Germany, Spain, France, like Central Europe. So when I came there, I was shocked by how much money I spent. This is insane. I don't want to open my bank account app. It's crazy. Yeah, the rent was very high for my room, even though I lived in a room in a house with other people, and I had my small room, and I paid 550 euros, I think, per month. Lots of bars, club, a lot of stuff. And also, if you want to take a bus, you can go to Paris or Brussels. It's Paris, I think it's 2 hours from Lille, and Brussels is an hour and a half. So if you're bored in Lille, or you're depressed because of the weather there is horrible, by the way. It's raining all the time. It's like in the UK. It's very close, to be honest. And if you're bored or stressed or sad or depressed, whatever, you can go to London. Not to London. If you have a EU citizenship, you can go to London. I can't, unfortunately. You go to Brussels, Paris, where you can find even more stuff.
And would you say that the AUBG grant is enough for living in France?
Definitely. I think ABG grant is 600 per month. They send you directly on your bank card in the beginning. They send you the whole sum of money, but usually you save this money for your rent. In my case, it was like this, and I spent basically almost everything on rent and other expenses I needed to pay from my pocket. And also, the other thing I liked about Erasmus is that they after you pay for your tickets and you return back to your country, in my case to Bulgaria, to ABG, they ask you for your tickets and they can give you back the money which you spent on the tickets. It's a travel fund, probably you know about it. So for now, I haven't received this money, but I'm supposed to receive it in the nearby future. Yeah.
Okay, and you mentioned that you were living in private housing, but were there dorms?
Yeah, there were dorms, but there are lots of students, so the competition to get a room in the dorm is insane. And I think that the Erasmus students are not prioritized in this queue. So it's the French students who get most of the rooms. So I had problems with accommodation before I went to France. As we know, Europe right now experiences really, really bad housing crisis, and it's very hard to find a room, especially if you have a family or something. Thank God I don't. Like your own kids and stuff, it's very hard. Um, for me, I asked the school to provide me with some sources, some websites, and there was one which provided rooms throughout the whole city and the whole area, to be honest. And I found somehow a room. I think it was like it took me 2 or 3 weeks to find a good room and pay for it in advance.
Okay, and if people are to go to Lille and look for accommodation, what would you recommend them?
I would recommend, first of all, to be careful because I think not only in France, but in Europe, there is a bunch of fake announcements online about the apartment. For example, my friend, she went to Rome and it was like a month ago to leave there and she got scammed. She booked the apartment online and she came there and this building didn't exist, you know, which is crazy. So first of all, you should be careful. Second of all, contact the school because there are people who work in, for example, in my school in STC, there is a person, Milina, I think that was her name, who works in the international admissions, and they will be ready to help you a lot. But if you want, I can also send you the links after to some websites, so you can put them under this video, or also I think Jani will put my socials in the credits, so you can write to me on Instagram, and I can show you privately the neighborhoods which are the best to rent, and also the websites where you can find a room.
I wanted to ask you also regarding meeting people. Was there ESN or were the events like in AUBG organized by the university?
Yep. In France, they have a bunch of parties, a bunch of cool stuff going on, and I think for Erasmus, particularly from our school, in the beginning, there was a meeting after a couple of parties, but Lille is also known for a lot of Erasmus students. And people outside of my school organized parties in their houses or in the clubs or in the bars. And on social media, I would suggest a lot to those going to Lille. There are a bunch of pages online on Instagram, more particularly, where they post information about parties or about trips. And by the way, trips are very cheap to go to if you go using the company. And the parties are also very nice.
What do you think people should know about French people?
Well, I think there is a big stereotype about French people that they're not nice and they don't want to talk to you. You know about this one, probably you've heard it online. Well, in Lille, people were actually very nice, especially when I first came. I had this stereotype in my mind that the people of the north of France, they're very close, they're not nice, they don't want to help you, they don't want to take care of you if you're in a bad situation, you know. And the first days, I understood that it's not true, and they were very helpful to me, whether it was for my apartment, whether it was a question about the school. Everyone was there to help me. They even, you know, people were in the canteen, they were eating, and I asked them a question, and they stand up, they pack the lunch box, and they go with me to show me where the room is or where I should go. So it was very cute. In Paris, though, I experienced some like not nice encounters, you know. But Paris is Paris. It's like in Russia, I have a saying that Moscow is not Russia. So Paris is not France. I think it is France, definitely, but it's kind of, you know, modified version of France. with a bunch of tourists and stuff. And there you can encounter some problems, especially if you don't speak French. But other than this, I think overall French people are extremely nice and they're there to help you, whatever you're in. Yeah.
And one advice that you want to give to people that are considering going to France?
Well, learn French. Very, very, very basic yet very useful thing I could say to you. Because there, apart from the school, where you probably will have classes in English if you don't want to take French ones, but still, in France, sorry, people don't speak much English. So, unfortunately, it's not a stereotype. They don't speak English, or they don't want to speak English. Also exists. So learn French. I think at least basic level, like A2, B1, will be enough for you because you will encounter some problems, for example, with your apartment, groceries, I don't know, person on the street, whatever happens to you. And I think that your level of French will be a very useful tool for you to help yourself, you know.
Final question. As a student assistant to the Erasmus office, what kind of question can people come with to you?
To be honest, I was working till the end of September in the Erasmus office, but people know that I went to Erasmus and I'm always open for the questions. And to be honest, they can ask me anything. Like, really, I'm open 24/7. I'm on my Instagram. I'm a phone addict. So, yeah, I can respond to you, no problems. Whatever you have, whether it's recommendation, food, I can give you the restaurant recommendations, anything. And if you want to travel, where to travel, just hit me up. I'll help you with this one.
If anyone has question, I will leave your Instagram and email underneath the video. So thank you for participating.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Thank you.